Hey guys, back here again, and today we're going to be looking at the new San Holo project, his debut album, as you can probably guess by the name of the album, album 1. San Holo has slowly been building his discography and fan base over the last several years, finally accumulating into this first album, which features entirely new material. Nothing that wasn't intended to be on this album initially ended up being on this album, and he's had hits in the past with like We Rise and Light that were fairly popular even outside of his own dedicated fan base. And if you've listened to any San Holo before in the past, you definitely know that he has a signature sound, and sometimes he toys with it, and sometimes it sounds a little bit weirder, different, or this and there. But he definitely uses this certain future-based sound that you do hear other places, but he seems to be really like it's what he hones in on and really puts all his effort into making this sound very distinct, and like you hearing his song and you know it's his song just based on the kind of more light melancholic style of it. And really it's all just kind of made of these kind of softer vocals, lyrics that kind of question the meaning of life, kind of vague still, and his very airy but heavy and big room production that really kind of all accumulates into this pot that sounds like San Holo. However, though, on this album it does wear a little heavy on the listener when every single track has a style, and it can be a little frustrating at points. Like I said before, this big room style that takes place in a lot of his songs is a little overwhelming at times, and just kind of sounds repetitive and very interchangeable, and even some of the melodies or even the percussion can sound a bit slow, and it's like, okay, come on, I'm waiting for what's next, and it can go on for a little long, especially with a lot of the track length on this album too, with several tracks exceeding 5 minutes. There are 2 tracks, however, that do kind of come at a different approach. They do still have that kind of big room feel that the other tracks do, but they kind of go at it a little different, both featuring these very light, bubbly bells during the transitions and verses that kind of build up to the chorus and eventual drops. Then once these choruses and instrumentals then come in, they completely part ways and each song is to their own. The first is Lift Me From the Ground, and that track really features some more fuzzy synths in the instrumental, along with a copied version of the melody that's going on with the light bell we were talking about previously, and repurposing it into this more buzzier rendition of it. And then in Brighter Days, then the instrumental is just the beat laid over some chopped and pitched up, somehow some other way edited by Bipolar Sunshine Vocals, who is the featured person on the track. And there are a few other tracks on the album that do stand out as being some of the better from the overall mesh of this pot, and like Voices in My Head and Surface both do have some standout moments that I'm like, oh, this is a highlight. This is the better parts of what he was doing with this kind of more generic sounding style of his. Well, Lift Me From the Ground and Brighter Days were a bit more out there a little bit, but still kept the mind frame of the album. Voices in My Head and Surface were still at the top tier of what he did make for the album. San Holo definitely tries to capitalize off the success of Light and We Rise, but can't quite seem to nail it down on what made those 2 songs so perfect, somewhat missing here and there throughout the entire album. And while the overall style is very warming and pleasing, it does kind of wear down as it goes on. There are a few gems on the album that do make me enjoy it a bit more, like the tracks Lift Me From the Ground and Brighter Days, but they're not often enough to make me really not feel like this album is lacking of something. And so in the end, I'm going to have to end up giving this album a 5, as it seems pretty middle of the road and nothing too fantastic other than 1 track in particular, while the rest just kind of mesh together. So let me know what you guys thought of this album, what you thought of the review, and like, subscribe, comment, all that, and what do you guys want me to review next? I'm always curious to know. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya. Bye.